Sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Scott Sports 101. I'm Scott Trella. We'll talk Game 5 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Cavs and Celtics last night, and we'll talk a preview of tonight's Game 5 between the Warriors and Rockets, which the Warriors and Rockets are in Houston for that game tonight. And but first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. Which of the following players was drafted ahead of Michael Jordan in the 1994 NBA draft? A. John Stockton, B. Hakeem Olajuwon, C. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or D. Charles Barkley? I'll have the answer later in the broadcast. Well, Game 5 between the Cavs and Celtics did not go the Cavs' way last night, as the Celtics just took the game from the get-go and dominated and beat the Cavs 96-83. The Cavs jumped out to the early 12-point lead, but then were down by as much as 13 at the end of the first quarter. Boston scored Boston scored the first 4 points and went up 36-19 at the opening of the second quarter, and the Cavs just struggled and they gave away and really just could not get things together. And I mean, they had their chances, and but Kyle Korver was fouled by Brown, and he missed one free throw and made the other one, but Boston scored a 3-pointer, and they were up 39-20, but the Cavs went on an 8-0 run and cut the lead to 39-31. I thought that they had a chance to take the lead, but just were not able to go up, and they were down by the end of the first quarter. They were down by 11, 53-42 at halftime, and the Cavs just were trying so hard not to let up on Boston, and things did not go their way, and LeBron kept saying, we need to regroup, and I agree with that. And they should have done that. And he had 20 points in the first half, and the rest of the team had 16 points, and were 3 for 7 from the free throw line in the first half. And I thought Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. both had their best games, even though they only scored 2 points. They kept blocking shots that Boston was trying to make, and that's what you have to do. And you got to block shots to put the pressure on Boston. But in the third quarter, Justin Tatum had 16 points for Boston last night, and the Cavs have way too many turnovers, and I've said it before, they can't have all these turnovers. And at the start of the third quarter, the Cavs were down 11 points at the start of the third quarter, and Boston just went on a 7-0 run, but the Cavs cut it to 67-60, but then Boston went on a 16-0 run and went up 76-60, and by the end of the third quarter, things just kept getting worse, and the Cavs just were not getting things to go their way, and they weren't scoring in the paint, and they were not scoring 2 or 3 pointers like they should have, but they were. In the fourth quarter, the Cavs were down by 12 at the start of the fourth quarter, but Boston went on a 7-0 run, but the Cavs answered with 5 more points, but scored with 5 more points, but Boston scored 4 more points, but they did cut Boston's lead to 12, but it was not enough, as Boston went on to beat the Cavs 96-83, and LeBron James had 26 points, 15 rebounds and 5 assists, and Kevin Love was the only other Cav in double figures with 14 points. I just felt the Cavs the Cavs were 9 for 34 in 3-point shooting. They just could not make three-pointers last night, and I felt that they were giving Boston just way too much room, even though it was on their home court. And I felt that the Cavs needed to win this game to go up 3-2, but as we know, the Cavs do face elimination tomorrow night in Game 6. So with Game 6 being back here in Cleveland at the Q, the Cavs will have to take Game 6 to force Game 7 on Sunday, and I'm confident that they are going to do just that, because I know Boston has been undefeated on their home court, but I have a hunch that when Game 7 is played, I do have a hunch, but I'm going to say it's a toss-up between Cleveland and Boston, and it could go either way, but I have a hunch that this Game 7 in Boston falls on the Cavs. It lands, well, not falls on, lands on the Cavs, excuse me. I feel Game 7 lands on the Cavs, because I have a hunch they are going to take Game 7 in Boston and beat Boston for the first time at home. And they've only lost one game on their home court here at the Q. So I just feel that they're going to take Games 6 and 7 tomorrow and Sunday. But they have got to dominate from the get-go. They've got to not give Boston a chance to get back in the game. And I feel that's what they were doing last night, and they just weren't putting the pressure on Boston, and there were way too many turnovers. And they got to have so many, they got to not foul so much, excuse me. And I have to tell you, I just felt, and I don't know, and J.R. Smith just did not have a good night like in the previous game in Game 4. He only scored, I think, 4 points last night and was like, I think 2 for 4 from the field. Kyle Korver Kyle Korver did not score like he did in Game 4. He was only 4 for 4 from the field. The Cavs defense really needs to step it up in Game 6 and in Game 7. And I agree. They need to really pass the ball around. Everyone needs to contribute. They got to help LeBron out. And I just feel the Cavs do have. I agree with Austin Carr. The Cavs have a little fire left in them, and I said this before. I'm going to say it one more time. I feel the Cavs are going to take Game 6 tomorrow, and I have a hunch that Game 7 will land on the Cavs, and they will take Game 7 in Boston and beat Boston for the first time on their home court this postseason. So let me know what you think. Leave me a comment on my discussion board on my YouTube channel, or you can go to my Scott Sports 101 email address, scottsports101@gmail.com. And now for a preview of the Western Conference Final between the Rockets and Warriors tonight in Houston. And I feel the Rockets, they are, and Warriors are tied at 2. And I still feel that Golden State Warriors, have the edge in this series. Have the edge in this series. And I feel that they are going to go up 3-2 tonight, and Houston will be in the same position the Cavs are in elimination when they play their Game 6 on Saturday, and they will have to win Game 6 and force Game 7. But I'm still saying the Warriors are going to take this series in 6, and I know a lot of other sports analysts are saying that as well. And so I feel by far the Warriors have the edge in the Western Conference Final. So I feel that really it's going to be a tight series between the Warriors and Rockets, and I think it's just a toss-up right now, and I think it lands on the Golden State Warriors taking this series. So I feel by far Golden State really has the edge in this series. Even though they are not the team that they once were, I feel it's just not there, but I still feel it lands on the Warriors. Well, it is now time for the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. And which of the following players was drafted ahead of Michael Jordan in the 1984 NBA draft? If you said B, Hakeem Olajuwon, you are correct. Michael Jordan was the third draft in the 1984 NBA draft, but Hakeem Olajuwon was the first. He was ahead of Michael Jordan, and he was ahead of Michael Jordan in 1984 and was drafted by the Houston Rockets in 1984. And they have had many more. The Rockets have drafted many more great draft picks, including in 2008. And I'll have another trivia question in my next broadcast on Saturday after tomorrow's Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Final between the Cavs and the Celtics. And we're gonna move on and talk about the Tribe. They won 1-0 last night in Wrigley Field against the Cubs. Adam Plutko was on the mound for the good guys, and he carried a no-hitter into the seventh inning, and then Trevor Bauer in the bullpen came out and really finished the job. And the Tribe will try to make it 3 in a row tonight against the Houston Astros, the first of a 3-game series. First pitch is at 7:10. Mike Clevenger is on the mound for the good guys, and I really feel that the Tribe is really starting to come on strong, and I think the bullpen is really starting to pick it up, and I think they will as the rest of this season wears on, and I'd like to see them be above 500 before the All-Star break. So, to keep ourselves above 500 in the Central before the All-Star break, excuse me. Getting back to, and we had a little bit of breaking news yesterday, and this is a little NFL news, that NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has issued, with the singing of the national anthem, that the players remain standing during the national anthem or be in the locker room. Let me know if you agree with Roger Goodell's call on this. Let me know what you think on my discussion board or at ScottSports101.com. I am interested in what you have to say about this. And please let me know. Give me some great responses on this. Please really state your response and why you feel that way. I really would like to know. I am very interested because I feel the players should be standing when the national anthem is sang, or be in the locker room either way. Because I feel you're saluting your country, the United States of America. So that's why it's appropriate for the players to be standing, and I agree with that call that was made. So please let me know what you think. Well, we're almost out of time, and I want to get back to talking about the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. I still feel that the Cavs have a little bit of fire left, but they really need to help LeBron out. They really need to contribute. Every player needs to be in double figures, even the ones that come off the bench. Tristan Thompson only scored 1 point, and I mean he played well and blocked some shots as well, but not as well as he did the other night. But they really need to put the pressure big time on Boston. They really need to be aggressive. They need to not let Boston have a chance to win the game. They need to pad the lead and keep the lead and maintain that lead throughout the entire game, like they did in games 3 and 4. They need to look back at those games, look at their mistakes, study Boston, and look at what Boston has done in Game 5. Study Boston and come out ready to play and really dominate the game from the get-go in Game 6 tomorrow at the Q. And with the Warriors and Rockets tied into, I feel the winner of this game is of Game 5 between the Warriors and Rockets, is going to win the Western Conference Finals. And I think that win, is going to be with the Warriors because I feel the Warriors have the edge in this series, and I feel it lands on the Warriors. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Scott Sports 101. Always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1, I'm done.